Hello, Maverick traders, and welcome out to your daily currency recap. This is Songit here, and let's break down today's market price action. It's a Tuesday, September the 24th. Let's get into it. As always, we'll be taking a look at today's market price action by looking at broader markets and take a look at currency baskets, and then we'll take a look at some possible setups ahead. Let's get into it.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional stock and option traders. Maverick Trading is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
As we jump into the market analysis, let's just jump right into the number and charts here and news of the day. Well, nothing really has changed. Market sentiment remains bullish. We have seen since the big breakout that we had, the markets are consolidating, but they're still staying positive. Now, the biggest move today was really in the yields, where the yields pulled back, but then the dollar also had a big break of the support. So we'll take a look at dollar where we are at, but that was a big break that we got on a currency basket today. Now, outside of that, let's see how the percentages were. You can see that it was a decent percentage day today. We had the dollar was the worst currency today, down 0.70%. And on the positive side, it was Kiwi, up 0.71. So you can see that Kiwi dollar was really the best pairing. Yen was weak, Swiss franc was weak. So you can see that those safe haven currencies are really breaking lower here. Now, euro and pound kind of right in the middle here. Surprisingly, CAD is actually deviated from the dollar. Remember, like dollar and the CAD kind of did the same thing. Not anymore. You can see that so far in the last 2-3 days, dollar has stayed weak, where the CAD has actually stayed pretty strong. So is it a time to look at them individually? Well, something to consider. Australian dollar, you can see that was a slight gain today. We had the RBA overnight. They didn't make any changes to it, but overall, you can see market sentiment remained positive. Now, as we take a look at the numbers in the broader markets, equity markets were up, slightly up. World markets were up. Crypto had a gain, but take a look at these. Gold continues to make new highs, and the oil also were strong for the day. So overall, decent day in the markets, and in the cryptocurrency world, we have the Bitcoin being the best one here. Ethereum, very little mover here, and Litecoin I see performing here. So in the crypto world, Bitcoin seems to be looking the best here. Now, as far as the outlook goes, again, where we are at, let's take a look at the chart. You can see that above the 20, above the 50, and this is the big breakout that I was referring to. And you can see that this is just, even though the price action, the range is so narrow, this is just making a little high base pattern here. So overall, I think market has a confirmed breakout. And with this, it's the prior resistance is now the support, and it continues to be in that way. So overall, the price action looks pretty good over here. Now, as far as the outlook goes, remember this is a light week as far as the U.S. data goes, but then we have some data outside of the U.S. You can see today we actually had RBA rate statement, which is already out of the way. There was no change. Consumer confidence was weaker, and you can see that really weighed down on the US dollar and the bond yields. Tonight, we have the Aussie CPI. It doesn't seem like the Aussie CPI is really a concern here. So just like last year or 2 years ago, CPI numbers were really moving the markets. It seems like now it's these employment numbers that are really moving the markets. So we'll take a look at it. If this comes up weaker than expected, I wouldn't be surprised. We see a softer Aussie. I'd really expect the inflation number to really jump over here. Now, most importantly, on Friday, we have the S&P rate statement. Remember, they expect to cut rates by 25 basis points. And then we also have some other data out of the U.S. as well. But overall, I think Friday, I really like it. There's not a whole lot tomorrow. And then we already have major stuff out of the way, with the exception of the Aussie CPI. So based on that, let's just jump into our currency analysis and see what we can find as far as the setup goes.
Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader?
Now, when it comes to the setup here, let's just take a look at the US dollar first, because, I had some questions about the dollar and, the amount of bearishness that we saw today. This is a kind of price action. I call it a one-way street here, because you can see that there's just no meaningful bounce. Take a look at the RSI, almost oversold. And it just stayed oversold for the most part, and we just continue pushing lower. So this is, again, a one-way price action that looks pretty bearish. Now, on the daily chart, this is, again, was the big sort of a break today. That's what everybody was talking about. You can see that if I draw the line over here, you can see this support level has kind of held in last few times. And here we are almost breaking or close to that support area here. So I think right now it looks like it wants to break out further here. The last couple of times when it came to that level, the buyers came in. Remember that we got pushed down here. The buyers came in, pushed down here, then buyers came in. Are we going to see the same thing? Well, here's the difference here. We are seeing the further expectation for a rate cut, which is, again, another 50 basis point. Now, we already had a 50 out of the way. Markets are now pricing in that in the next meeting, they're going to go 50 basis points again. So is the market getting ahead of itself? Well, we said the same thing last time. They were right. But right now, that's where the pressure is coming from. You can see that also in the bond yields. They are staying pretty weak as well. There's no real buying whatsoever. So again, that's really what's really driving the moves over here. Now, as far as the relative strength goes, you can see that the Kiwi looks the best here. It's breaking out this prior resistance. At this point, it looks like it wants to get higher to that resistance level. Australian dollar kind of following suit, but it hasn't really cleared out the resistance level. It remains intact. And take a look at the Canadian dollar here. There's no shape or form Canadian dollar looks the best. But at the same time, relative strength of weakness, we are not really seeing CAD weaken along with the USD. Now, Japanese yen, well, this thing again remains weak, but for now, we got some support over here. And then last, if we take a look at Swiss franc, this is the one that I'm really watching this week, a break of the support. Similar to the break that we got, or where we are in the dollar, I'm looking for the exact same thing right here, where it potentially wants to break lower here. Again, we'll see what happens. This will be a news play here. Now, outside of that, Euro had a big fall yesterday, and then it's just basing here. Do I like Euro here? No. Take a look at the price action today. It was a pretty small candle here, so don't really love that bounce on the Euro here. And the pound is the one that we went in this week with a bit more bullishness, and it's sort of pulling back a little bit here. So as far as the pairing goes, I think if you take a look at all the dollar crosses, that kind of looks interesting to me. Take a look at dollar against the CAD right at the support. Now, take a look at Euro against the dollar. So right at the resistance. So you can see that a lot of these currencies are kind of doing the exact same thing as the currency basket goes, is sitting right at the resistance level. Now, other things have sort of broken out, like Aussie dollar. You can see this thing. This thing has broken out over here. We have the Kiwi dollar, which looks really bearish, really bullish. So here we are, Kiwi USD. You can see this thing is also broken out as well. So at this point, I think it's all about pairing those things. I don't want to really get ahead of this Swiss franc trade because, take a look at Swiss franc. Hasn't really broken the support yet. Is it look similar to what the dollar was doing? Absolutely. You can see that dollar was kind of looking weak, and then here we go. Got to push lower. I think Swiss franc could do the same thing, but right now, there's just no confirmation yet. So that's really what's really moving here. Again, if you want to looking for pairings, Euro still looks pretty weak here. If you take a look at Euro against the Kiwi, this trade is working out well. You can see that beautiful little bear rally, and it's going to break lower here. We can take a look at Euro against the Aussie. That kind of looks very similar as well. So again, these are the trades that are really working. And even though if you take a look at Aussie USD, you can see that it looks super bullish here. But it's hitting some key resistance here. I always like to go back because this is the areas where prices can either reject or have a bigger further sort of a breakout off of that. So this thing is running into that resistance here. If I take a look at outside of that, Kiwi dollar has broken out. We have euro dollar that looks like it wants to break out. So there's some decent setups, even dollar CAD too. So I think after this, want to be really cautious about the dollar here. It's right at this level, but if it breaks that level, I think it has a further downside risk. So meanwhile, what is it going to do? Either it's going to try to attempt to rally or maybe a base here. But break of that would be a great opportunity to short into. So in conclusion, I think the market sentiment likely to stay positive. I don't really expect a whole lot of changes. I mean, the only thing you can see that the dollar looks pretty bearish and Kiwi looks pretty bullish. So Kiwi dollar actually looks the best. And outside of that, you can see euro, Swiss franc, yen. They're all sort of following the lead. But again, dollar being pretty weak today. Other currencies have been weaker as well. So the only shining area is we have the Aussie, which again is flat for the day. We got the pound. So pound and the Kiwi is really the trade that's running right now. With the lack of news events and a big sort of movement already that happened today, this is where market likes to take a pause, to consolidate, gather some energy. So that's what I expect in the next 24 hours. Don't want to be really getting too active here. After a big move, want to be patient, look for the next one, and then go from there. Thanks everyone for joining. Happy trading. Cheers.